It's time to eat something. Oh dear. Oh dear. There's been a lot to think about recently. Man, oh man. A lot to think about. Too much thinking. Too much thinking. But I've just been looking back at certain things. I'm gonna have some Rhoda granola. Some Rhoda granola. Life is such a funny old thing, you know. Life is just a funny old thing. It really is. I'm so hungry right now. I wonder if this milk... What do you reckon, 4th of July? Smells okay. I think it's probably okay. I will... We've got some probiotics. So I will put the probiotic in there to help with this old gut health. There we are. There. And I'll put that over the cereal. Should I turn the dryer on now? No, it's gonna mess up the video. I'll be able to hear it. Oh dear. Oh man. There we are. Some Rhoda granola with some milk. There's been a lot to process. A lot to process. I look back at when I look back at the report. When I look at the report, when I look at the report my mother made against me, it's not so black and white, but a lot of it is true. And in a way it feels liberating to admit that. I've done a lot of fucked up shit. A lot of fucked up shit. She's mixed up some dates, but a lot of it is true. It's amazing, I was so triggered by just one thing. With her telling Denise I was so triggered. PTSD. In some ways, I'm more afraid of Denise than my mum, which feels weird to say. I actually feel Denise is more dangerous. My mother paid £4,000 for me to have varicose veins removed from my legs. She paid £4,000 for me to have laser eye surgery. She paid almost £9,000 for me to have my nose fixed, because it was broken when I was younger. Because she wasn't watching what the fuck we were doing. And I fell off a skateboard, crushed it. But she laughed at the time. I think it was part nervousness. She didn't know how to react. Maybe it was part nervousness, so she laughed as a way of coping. I think she said I looked Chinese. I think I used that guilt against her to get her to pay for it. I had to manipulate in order to survive. Growing up in a war zone. My mum's an interesting person because in some ways she'll do so much, try to please people. But then she'll say such hurtful things. Maybe she's just like me. She burns herself out and then snaps. I've done the same thing. Spend a lot on people. But then say nasty shit, which tends to undo any of that niceness. One step forward, 2 steps back. Sometimes 2 steps forward, 1 step back. There's always 2 sides to every story. She has her own experience, her own perspective. And my own perspective, my experience. And the interesting thing is that experiences and perspectives are constantly shifting, constantly changing. There were times I was violent. I was so angry. So angry. There were times I wanted to kill her. There were times I wanted to kill her. Just wanted a mother, that I could trust. That loved me. That that was there for me. I used to run to the door when she would get in. I was so excited. I was upset if it was my dad instead of her. She told me once that I changed. I became someone else. When I started to misbehave. When I started to disobey. She said, I just want my little boy back. Maybe that sweet, sensitive little child. And what would I say to him now? But that's the problem. That's why I never became a man. Because she never wanted that. She never wanted that. Because she can't control a man. She can only control a boy. My dad's just a boy. A good boy who does what he's told. I don't have to do what she says anymore. Oh, Mum. I do love you, Mum. I love you, but I hate many of the things that you've done and many of the things that you've said. A bit like how you feel about me. Still carry around your criticism in my mind. You're the voice of my inner self-critic. Anytime that I know something, I hear your voice say, "Oh, what rubbish. What rubbish." I let that transactional therapist really get in my head. David Rawkins. Who said your perception is surely going to be inaccurate because of your damaged psyche. Why does that hurt? Hurts because it's true. Hurts because it's true. But it's just a nasty way of putting it. What would be a kinder way of saying someone's got a damaged psyche? Troubled, traumatized, confused, abused. But damaged, that's harsh. That's what my mum said about an ex-girlfriend of mine. Called her damaged goods. She had bipolar. To refer to someone as goods. It's good that relationship ended though. That was a nightmare. But there was no need for any nastiness. And then calling it a mental health patient. A mental health patient, look. He said that, David Rawkins. I think his name was David Rawkins. He said, mental health patient, look. It's called dissociation, when someone's eyes drift off. That happens with traumatized people all the time. PTSD victims, CPTSD. I don't want to identify as a victim anymore though. But that's what happens. The eyes drift off. Dissociation. That's what it's called, dissociation. It's because the present reality is too painful to face. So we drift off to a memory or a fantasy. At times I feel completely hollow. Like there's a void in me. A void that just can't be filled. Try to fill it with stuff. Fill it with money. Fill it with sex. Fill it with rage. Anything's better than it being empty. Why can't I let it be empty? What's wrong with the void? It's like there's no identity, no self, nothing to hold on to. I'm nobody. There's no me. There is no you. Conceptually, yeah. But yet I indulge this fantasy. This fantasy of I. This fantasy of me. This fantasy of you. It's a fantasy. It's a fucking fantasy. Beneath this is bones and fat and blood and shit and pus and if I was to take this skin right now and peel off my face, can you imagine what it would look like? The veins, the sinews, the pus, the eyeballs. Look how ugly eyeballs are. Look at that. That's what our eyes really look like. Is there anything beautiful about that? People will talk about, oh, they've got beautiful eyes. Someone's got beautiful eyes. Eyes aren't beautiful. Look at that. Without the eyelids. Big, scary balls. Big, scary balls. Big, scary balls. You know what I mean. So it's like, see what happened there. Almost drifted into fakery. Sometimes I mix up myself, my own views, someone else's. It's a wish to see things the way other people see things. I want to see things the way Utadamu see things. He doesn't blame anyone else. He just watches his mind, lets it become peaceful. I feel like he would see me as a demon on earth, like a hell denizen, like a titan, or an Azora. But I'm not. I'm not. I'm not. I'm misunderstood. I have a lot of love to give. At times a lot of rage, a lot of hate. I can be walking along a supermarket and I can feel rage. Sometimes every woman is a mother who I wish would love me. But she won't. She won't. And that's where this rage comes from. Body betrays me. See, us men, Some of us claim we're tough guys, alphas. Pretend that we're not afraid. So we get a fancy car or a big house. Give us the illusion of safety. My mother thinks that Trump is fearless. Trump isn't fearless. Trump is an afraid man. Maybe that's the man that she wants. Maybe that's partly why she's so angry. Because my dad has so much fear. But Trump isn't fearless. Trump is a scared man. Protects himself with money, power, distractions of women. But you see, I just want to be loved, comforted. That's why I became obsessed. Maybe not obsessed, but sex became something so important because it was the one way that I could feel safe in my body. It was the one way that I could feel loved and comforted. And that a woman could actually give me pleasure and not pain. Because all it was pain. A lot of pain. Oh, I could be doing a podcast collaboration. With Starship Texas. I've emailed him, Starship Texas. Otherwise known as Fee. I said, let's do a collaboration. He said, a podcast. And I said, yeah. And he hasn't responded. I hate it when people don't respond. I don't mind if they take their time. Actually, that's not even true. I want an instant response. Instant. Then again, an instant response. An instant response is sometimes not a real response. An instant response is response based on emotion. So maybe it's better people take their time. When people take their time, it's more honest, more real, more thoughtful. When people rush, it tends to be thoughtless. As Steve said to me, slow is fast. Slow is good. It's good for people to take their time. It's just sometimes slow means never. And that fear of abandonment. When I was a child, always getting lost in the supermarket. Always getting lost. Always a lost child who was looking for his mum. My dad would disappear and I'd panic where he would go and he would just walk off. He also would just walk across the road and leave me the other side. I want to be different to my kids. I want to be a better parent. Sometimes that wanting is what makes things worse. You can't be who you want to be. You have to allow yourself to just be. Peace, happiness, joy. It's the background. It's always there. When the pain subsides, the peace is what's there. Sometimes I feel restless with inactivity. I'm addicted to my phone, addicted to checking subscribers, addicted to watching videos. I can't manage without the stimulation because it's too painful to be alone with my thoughts. My brain was just about lying to myself for long enough that I'd healed, and it was just about keeping things in check. Just about doing it. Then reconnecting with my mother tipped things over the edge. But I think it needed to happen. Because I needed to see myself. And if I hadn't have reconnected with my mother, I would never have faced myself once and for all. I had to face who I really am. The only way that I can ever change is to face who I am now. Who I am now is not who I want to be. But that's the problem. Wanting to be someone else is exactly why I can't be happy being me. Give up the wanting. Give up the greed. Give up the anger. Who am I without anger? I don't know who I am without anger. Would I be hurt without anger? Would I be taken advantage of if I wasn't angry? Nowadays, it's my anger that gets taken advantage of. My anger, my rage. Fuck. Fuck. Fuck it out. God, I've spent almost 50 minutes eating a bowl of cereal. Oh God. Yeah, my the rage is now what some people try and use against me. Very few people are honest with themselves. And I would like to be one of those people that is honest with myself about who I am. My flaws, my strengths, my hopes, my dreams, my fears, my likes, my dislikes. It's all about me, isn't it? Where's the superego come and criticize me again? All right, I think that's enough for now. We'll wait till 50 minutes. Do our little cool down. My therapy sessions used to be 50 minutes, so I've got a thing about 50 minutes now. Well, with Philip, they were 50 minutes. With Steve, they were, could run on sometimes longer, 1.5 hours maybe, because I was EMDR.